Call to order this meeting of this Appomattox County Board of Supervisors. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by invocation by Mr. Westfield. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this time when we can gather together to tend to the business of our county, your business. Father, guide us as stewards of the many blessings you have bestowed on our county and on our county's people. Please grant us the wisdom to practice that stewardship in keeping with your commands. Father, please continue to bless our families, our county, and our nation as we move through these times. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. How you tonight?
Next, we have the setting of the agenda. You've all had the packet agenda since last Friday. Is there any changes or additions to the agenda? If not, I'll accept the motion to approve the agenda as submitted. So moved. Reverend Jones has moved to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Carter, second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the agenda is set. All right, first is citizen public comment period. This time is provided by the board to allow the citizens the opportunity to address the board on issues of importance to the citizen. No individual citizen shall be permitted to address the board for more than 3 minutes. At this time, we have Mrs. Linda Mays, who's requested to speak before the board. Ms. Mays?
To do that,
Had something, a compliment I want to make to the county tonight. And,
First, we need to have you state your name and address,
I'm sorry,
please.
Linda
That's right.
Days, 2896 Knapp's Mill Road. And yes, I have a compliment, I want to compliment the county. My husband and I love to watch baseball and softball, whether it's professional, college, high school, and the little ones. So when we heard that the state Dixie tournament was going to be here at Appomattox Community Park, we were really excited to go watch it. And when we got there, we were delighted to see the improvements that the Parks and Rec Department had made. They did some painting and some paving and brought in some new soil, which is really important the night that it rained very hard. It helped it to drain. And we had people coming from all across the state, as far as Dinwiddie County and way up in Carroll County, Smith County, and Southwest Virginia. And it really made a nice appearance. It looked really good for Appomattox. And I just want to compliment Ann Dixon and Parks and Rec for all they did to make the community park look so nice for that community. Thank you for it.
Thank you, Ms. Mays. That's refreshing to hear things like that, and I think the big hand should go out to Mr. Jeff Shepard and his crew for all the work they do out there on the parks.
It might happen.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak who maybe didn't sign up? Give you an opportunity. All righty. Next, we have the scheduled appearances. These are times provided by the board to citizens and organizations outside county government to discuss matters of importance to the board. Mr. Shannon Lewis, Forestry Manager of Virginia Department of Forestry, is requested to appear before the board to provide an update on forestry and present the county payment in lieu of taxes for timber sales revenue on the Appomattox Buckingham State Forest. Mr. Lewis, welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you all for seeing me this evening. This is my first appearance here. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Appomattox and went to school here. After graduating college, I've worked multiple jobs with the Department of Forestry for the last 23 years. And I've spent the last 12 years managing Cumberland State Forest. So this past January, I had the opportunity to transfer back here. Happy to be here, where I'm from, and hopefully I'll be coming to visit you for the next few years. So each year,
The state force, can y'all hear me okay? I heard that pick up. So each year, the state forest pays basically money that's based on our timber sales in lieu of taxes. And this past year on the Appomattox Buckingham State Forest, we harvested sustainable harvest approximately 148 acres of timber. And the net result of that is a payment to the county of $17,028.38. So at this time, I would like to present this check to the county. Our timber harvest has been down just a little bit on the state forest for the last year. Main reason is the northern long-eared bat, which I'm sure everybody's familiar with. But it took a little while and a little work with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to try to figure out a way around that. And basically on the state forest, we're not harvesting timber during the months of June and July, which is the time of year when there could potentially be bats pupping in this area. So we got to work around for that. I would expect things to pick up a little bit in the future, but I will make no promises. Does anybody have any questions about the state forest or how we operate? No? Okay. If you would ever like a presentation or more information about the state forest, please ask. I would be willing to provide that at any time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Appreciate the check.
I'll try to bring you another one next year.
Thank you.
All righty, next up, Sheriff Richardson is requested to appear before the board to discuss purchase of a new vehicle for the sheriff's department.
No better time to go than behind him, I guess. Mr. Chairman, Board, thank y'all for having me. I got a few things I wanted to talk about other than just the vehicle. I didn't get a chance to come in July to talk about our annual numbers, and I told Mr. Carter I try to get in every quarter to give you our numbers and stuff. So I just want to go over a few things that we did in the past 3 months at the sheriff's office. We had 820 summonses wrote, 134 misdemeanor arrests, and 41 felony arrests that were served in the last quarter. Also, what we've had is, in your packet, you'll see on the second page is our traffic, or VDOT trash pickup crew. These are all the roads that they've picked up so far. Reedy Springs, Double Bridges, Wad Abbott, Piney Ridge, Hicksburg, Little Dogwood, Spring Grove, and Horseshoe. Obviously, there's a lot more roads in the county. We're trying to go through all the roads that's been asked of first. So if y'all have any roads in your jurisdiction you'd like for us to pick up, let us know. I've only got one guy and maybe one or two inmates helping him, so it's taking some time, but we'll get to him as soon as we can. So the next thing that is the next page, and this goes into our vehicle. So I'm coming to you, and I'm going ahead and put the caveat out. I'm not asking for any new money. I know that's kind of hard to understand with the new budget just came out. So what I'm asking the board to do is look back at the money that I turned in on our last budget. So on that sheet, you got a highlighted number at the bottom. That's the number that was turned into the county from my budget from last fiscal year. So what I would need is a request from y'all would be $55,000. That would pay for the new Durango and also the install for that Durango. As you can see, it's not even quite half of what was turned in last year. Any questions on that before I go to the next section? And just to give y'all a rundown why I'm asking for another vehicle, we have one vehicle per deputy that we have right now. And unfortunately, we got some brand-new vehicles that are in the shop with parts that are on recall. And they've been sitting there for a few months, and who knows when that part's going to get there. So luckily, we got 4 in the academy. They're driving their personal vehicles back and forth right now. So this is just going to get the ones that are working the road, the vehicles that they need.
All right, Ms. Adams, let's take an action item on us tonight to move the money.
Yes. You'll need to make a motion to carry forward FY '24 funds from Department 3102 to FY '25.
Is it listed under the action items, or this in addition to the action items?
You can go ahead and add it now if you'd like. Once he finishes, I think he's got some more of his report, so.
Or we can just take care of it, correct?
You can.
Mr. Wolfskill, do you have something to say? Well, let's hear it.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we move the funds from, as Ms. Adams stated, move the funds into usable money to purchase this vehicle for the sheriff's department.
And we have a specified dollar amount, the 55,000 he's
55,000.
requesting, right? Or are we going to move the whole amount?
No, I wouldn't move the whole amount.
I'm fine with the whole amount.
All right, motion's been made by Mr. Wolfskill that we move the leftover balance, an amount of 55,000 carryover into this year's budget for purchase of a new vehicle. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Hibbs has seconded. Discussion? All righty, let's take a vote. Mr. Wolfskill.
Aye.
Mr. Reverend Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Carter.
Aye.
Mr. Hibbs.
Aye.
I vote aye also. You may purchase your new vehicle.
Thank you, appreciate it. My next item would be, is I'm coming to request basically to create a new line, and what this new line would be, would hopefully, if approved by the board, is a rollover fund, so that I don't have to come back and ask this question every time that I need something like this. So it would create a fund. So if you look on the sheet that I just gave y'all with the highlighted line, the ones that are listed in the code 5408, 5409, 7001, 7005, they're all equipment or vehicle lines. Anything that's left in those lines that we could put in this line that's created to roll over. And then if you look at the last packet of stuff, it's your code 201, 242. What these are fines and forfeitures that come from the court, from traffic summonses, is that I request that these funds be put into that line as well. Now, all these funds also pay for our traffic safety overtime. So the deputy goes out, they work 2 hours of overtime, it comes out of these fines and forfeitures. So if y'all agree to it and we put all this money into the line, obviously my secretary would have to do a line transfer to make sure we could balance out the traffic safety overtime. And Ms. Adams, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if we can do it that way. I thought it would be the cleanest way if they did approve it, to be able to do that, so that way we can make sure we pay for the overtime as well.
Are you thinking from one fiscal year to the next?
Yes.
You know, we talked about at the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah,
It would take new board action to reappropriate to the next fiscal year.
so just to come back each year to reappropriate all this money, so.
Yeah.
So all this money, as you can see, 201, 242, to my knowledge right now, it goes from our general district clerk to the circuit court clerk, which then goes to the treasurer, and the treasurer puts it into, I'm not exactly sure, I assume general fund could be something different. But I'd like to see this money put back into the appropriation of the sheriff's office since it's generated, so we can purchase anything like, we got this body worn camera system coming up. If we can put this money in it, what we brought in last year, we could be able to pay for the body worn cameras ourselves. I wouldn't need to come back to ask for more money. So that's what this will be put into. Hopefully you see less of me asking for money, and we could take care of most of this stuff ourselves unless it's a bigger project than what we can take on.
Are you in a time crunch on this, or is this something we can have Ms. Adams prepare as an action item for next month's meeting?
Whatever gets you to say yes.
I would defer that to the attorney, but I think that would be an end-of-the-year action item and not just a continuing policy
Yeah, I think you would have, I don't think it's on.
after the audit.
Yes, and I would also want to make sure there's some fees, and I don't know off the top of my head, that are specifically designated for like courthouse security and things like that you'd have to, I think, maybe pull out, or maybe you already have.
It's already put out
Okay.
separately. So this is totally different. This is only from traffic summons. That's from the fines. All the other ones are coded different.
Okay, that was my main question. But yes, Ms. Adams.
And a portion of these funds, we've talked about it, but a portion of these funds are already allocated in the revenue budget at the beginning of the budget year. So we would have to define the difference.
So then, Ms. Adams, I guess you have some work to do to prepare something for us for next month then.
I don't know that you can take action next month.
What?
So then, is it a year-end activity only? We'd have to wait till next year-end?
Well, I think that's what you're asking, is that it would roll any unused funds,
So-
essentially gets reappropriated to FY the next year.
So obviously, the ones that were 5408, 5409, the 7001, 7005 would have to be end of the year because I won't know how much is left over to the end of the year. This is monthly generated from the courts. So this could start going in today. Obviously, this would take the end of the year.
But as Ms. Adams said, I think some of that may already be allocated in the budget. I think you all may have to wait till your next budget so that you can allocate those differently. And it may be that you have to come back
Sure.
once to roll over as opposed to multiple times, which I think would at least get you some of what you want. But I think some of those funds are already allocated in your current budget. Is that correct, Ms. Adams?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Carter?
cannot the budget be amended
The budget can be amended.
to incorporate this?
Yes, I think it would probably take Ms. Adams some time to look at. I don't want to commit her to a
Well-
timeline.
I think when we're saying the budget be amended, that's what we're talking about at the end of the year. And what we do as a supplement, we reappropriate and supplement back into the budget for like any revenues that are collected. So you do that monthly anyway on other items.
You say end of the year,
That would be carried forward from one fiscal year to the next.
but he will not be able to utilize that money until the end of 24,
25, yes.
25. It's like me, it'd all be an easy way than that. That's why I say amend the budget now to incorporate this.
We don't know how much it is monthly until they collect from the court cases.
I mean, I can show you what since January 1 was. Obviously, that's not this fiscal year, but I guess that's what you have in your packet is what from January 1 to this date, that's how much money has been put in there.
So that's 8 months' worth of collection.
Yeah.
That's what I think we ought to do, Mr. Chairman, is amend the budget to incorporate this into the sheriff's budget.
We've already transferred a lot of it to cover the traffic safety overtime in that line item for FY '24.
So we don't know what's in it then.
Which I
We
can,
do know.
I know how much we generated. We count every ticket. I count every hour. And I have every dollar that was made through the traffic safety program. There's no doubt there is money owed to the deputies for working their time, but there's a positive, and I can bring that amount to you next month if that's what it takes. But I know exactly what dollar amount was made by the deputies working. And it was well more than that.
Well, I think we need to do whatever's necessary in order to expedite this into your budget. Now, and I don't see why you have to be handcuffed, if you will, to wait until the end of the fiscal year.
I appreciate that, Mr. Carter.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Carter, I agree with you, but at the same time, we need to do it that is, fiscally legal also. And I'm hearing different story. I'm hearing that some of it's already accounted for and in our revenue stream. And then I'm hearing, well, no, it's carryover. So I think we need to get some clarification before as exactly what accounts we're looking at, how much we can do and when we can do it before we make a decision.
Mr. Chairman. Kelly,
Yes, sir.
can you say anything to that?
I do not prepare the budget, obviously. I think that tonight you all could direct Ms. Adams and staff to work with the sheriff to come up with a plan. I mean,
There you go.
no?
I said, there you go.
Oh, I thought you said, no, you don't. I'm like, or don't. To see if they can, and maybe come back to you all with a plan next month. It may not be, and then you all could talk amongst yourselves about what they find. I think might be I don't know that you all should take action tonight based on, I'm not sure you can take action tonight, given that
And I
you
think
can't,
that's
I mean,
fine. I think that's perfectly
depending on
fine.
what you want to do to the budget, you may have to have a public hearing.
And Mr. Hinkle, if I may, I can pass this around. I didn't make one copy. I apologize. I didn't know we get this in depth into it. But if you can look at the red number. So the red number, if you look on the far left, I don't have it in front of me. I'm trying to go off memory.
Far right.
The far left of that would be what the deputy, the fines of the tickets were. The second column will be what the deputy was paid out for his time of working. The third would be the money that was made for the county. And the last column is made plus paying the FICA for the deputy. So the numbers in red would be what was profited to the county.
Thank you.
And that's just a traffic safety overtime line. That's the only thing that's from the selective.
So after hearing that, Mr. Chairman, from the county attorney and the sheriff, then I think we can move forward at next month's meeting with the necessary data and legality then to move forward.
And I'll meet with Ms. Adams between now and then to verify those numbers and everything.
Well, and we had also talked to the clerk of courts, so there's a lot more information surrounding this than we have time to go into tonight.
We'll bring back the information y'all need. So on the,
Brilliant.
just the last item that I'll bring up, myself and the attorney talked about is the drones. I don't know how this got out of hand. I got some text messages, but I was coming to ask for some drones. I'm not here to ask for drones. We've got drones. We've got a drone program. The only thing we have is for the FAA, we have to get we don't have to, but they recommend getting a signed letter from the county attorney saying that we are the chief law enforcement agency of the county, and we would be using them for the law enforcement entity. Gave Mr. Hinkle the Code of Virginia that states what we can use drones for, and anything we use drone for has got to be a search warrant unless it's one of those sections listed in number C, a letter C of that, which are about 7 or 8 things we can use it for, basically emergencies. So we're not going to be tracking anybody. I got too much time. I need to be at home to be doing that.
So I'm looking for,
It's number 9.
so then, Ms. Adams, I understand what the sheriff just said. He already has this in operation, and our number 9 action item on the resolution is just kind of a formality to cover the sheriff.
The county attorney is prepared to, she did some work, research on that and prepared the resolution.
And I apologize for skipping forward. I just figured we'd take care of it
Well,
well.
that's all right, we'll just, all right, well, then I guess we'll cover it in more detail when we get to item 9, if we have any questions.
Do y'all need me to stick around for that? I've got to be in Richmond. That's the only reason I ask.
I'm sorry?
Do y'all need me to stick around for any questions for the resolution?
Are we going to have questions on the drone program that we need answers from the sheriff, or?
She can answer them.
I don't think I know enough to ask questions.
Hopefully, we never got to use it. Basically, child goes missing, adult goes missing, emergency situation, there's active shooter, things like that. You know, there's no other reason why we would be using it. Training.
Well, all the questions I had, if we're this far, they're taken care of, so I wouldn't have any questions, so.
Sounds good. Thank you. And if
Thank
y'all
you,
need to
Sheriff.
call me, feel free to. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All righty, next up is public hearing. CPU 240381 Coles Farm LLC. A duly advertised public hearing has been scheduled for the Appomattox County Board of Supervisors to receive comments on the following zoning petition, CPU 240381 Coles Farm LLC property owner, Tillman Infrastructure LLC, Mark Laubenier, anyway, I'll get it right. Applicant agent has submitted a petition to obtain a conditional use permit for the purpose of locating a wireless communication facility, cell tower on property located adjacent to 10063 Red House Road, Route 727, near the intersection of Evergreen Avenue and in the Appomattox community. The parcel proposed for this use is identified on tax map identification number 76A11. Access to the cell tower would be through tax map identification number 76A10. The parcel totals 118.26 acres according to county records and is zoned A1. Agricultural zoning district. Tillman Infrastructure LLC proposed to construct and operate a 235-foot tall self-support cell tower. The property is located in a suburban growth area according to Appomattox County Comprehensive Plan. The Planning Commission held a public hearing in June and received comments from one citizen. At their July meeting, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval of the petition and conditions. Staff recommendation is after receiving comments from the public, a resolution with the Planning Commission's recommendation has been prepared for our consideration. Right now, we have two people who would like to speak at this public hearing. First up, we have Mark, and will you pronounce your name for me so I don't mess it up?
Yeah, Loubier.
Okay.
Yeah, I have trouble pronouncing it myself, it's my name, so.
So come up, state your name and address.
My name is Mark Loubier, 18047 West Catawba Avenue. That's our office, Suite 201, Cornelius, North Carolina. And yeah, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, thank you for letting me speak tonight. This is going to be a 235-foot self-support tower. Verizon Wireless will be the anchor tenant. This will be a relo where they would be leaving a tower owned by U.S. Cellular to occupy this tower for financial reasons. What's being charged on that tower is, and it's in the packet, probably 70% more per month, and that is detrimental to Verizon being able to upgrade their facilities, add new antennas, add new cables, increase bandwidth. People really aren't talking on their phones as much as they used to. They're watching videos, they're on apps and everything else, and it takes up a lot more bandwidth. So this move would improve performance from a service standpoint, just allowing Verizon to upgrade their equipment more freely than they would the U.S. cell site. That's really all I have. I'm just here to answer any questions you people might have.
Any questions from the board? All righty. Next up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Mr. James Boyce. And please state your name and address for the record, please.
James Boyce, 177 Cawthorn Street in the town of Appomattox. Mr. Chairman, Madam Administrator, members of the board. It was my intention to go to the very first Planning Commission meeting to let my view on this be known. Be it known now, I am vehemently against this. My house abuts the property at Cole Farms. Let me tell you a little bit about my place. I like to sit out there in the evening. I like to hear the donkey bray, hear the cows moo, watch the animals roll around. What I don't want is to look out there and see a 235-foot tall buzzard roost in my backyard, literally. Because that's the problem we have here in town. Every cell tower around here is a buzzard roost. The only way to keep them out of that property is not to put that thing there. Now, it was also my understanding that at the first Planning Commission meeting, the motion was killed on a 3-3 tie. But then, miraculously, it has appeared to be okay. Now, I am one small person in one little small area. But again, they took a lot of pictures. I read the whole packet. Not neither picture was taken on Cawthorn Street. They say they need this because they can't expand on where they are now, and I understand that. I understand business. I am not anti-business. But what I am is worried about what my property value is going to do when they stick this big old tower up there. Now, the other thing is, There's no one in this room can tell me what that thing's gonna look like in 10 years. Nobody. Even the developer can't tell me what it's gonna look like in 10 years because they're building in expansions. Expand a little here, expand a little there, and next thing you know, we got trucks rolling in and out at night, interrupting the peace and quiet of the community. And to me, it's unnecessary. They have a spot. Their lack of planning does not constitute an emergency on my part. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, Mr. Boyce. Anyone else out there who maybe hadn't signed up would like to speak for or against the cell tower? Aha. Come on up and state your name and address.
Hi, Amanda Melton, 1320 Church Street. Mr. Chairman, board members, thank you. I have more questions than I have comments because I never saw a map of where exactly the tower was proposed to be located on that farm property. Can anyone provide that? Okay.
I'm the landlord.
Okay.
Behind my house, behind the dairy barn, there's a strip of woods.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be laid at the back end of that strip of woods.
Okay.
Behind those woods.
The most, on the west side, when you say back, are you talking about facing west?
Back to the west, on the end
Okay.
of that strip of woods west of the.
Okay. All right, so nowhere near the water plant or anything?
No.
Okay,
It's gonna be on that strip of woods. It's not gonna be on either side of the property.
okay.
It's gonna be in the middle and the back.
And can anyone define about how far away from the Red House Road, how far back that distance would be?
Yeah, I mean, I can show her in this parcel map here.
They had a
So that's
planning
where the tower's
commission
gonna
meeting.
be, right, basically right in the middle of the property, so it's well off every property line,
Okay,
yeah.
thanks for your patience. Where's the house in relation here
So,
of the,
somebody can help me on that one.
I'm just trying to orient myself here. Because I've been looking for a map, but I could never find one.
Driveway comes up and the house sits here.
Okay,
Well, actually, the house sits here. They don't call the entrance.
I see.
All the work, everything they do is coming in my driveway.
okay.
So nobody's coming up in the middle of the night making a bunch of racket. I
Yeah,
guarantee you
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But the house sits here, and it's gonna go all the way back. This strip of woods is right in here. It's gonna go back here on the back of the woods. Backside
Okay.
the property.
But, and we don't know distance, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, the number's here, but it's well, it's more than the height of the tower off the property lines. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I was hoping that it would be at least 1,000
That's
feet.
ways off the road.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you. My property abuts his property too, so I wanted to understand exactly where this was going, since obviously I don't want it too close to my property either. I don't mind as long as it's a good distance from our property. So thank you for your time.
Any of the board have any questions?
What'd you say, Mr. Chairman?
Do you have any questions?
Oh, no, I'd like to make a statement, if you
All right.
will. This property is located in my district. That's one of my constituents, Mr. Cole. This is his property. It's zoned correctly. It's nothing out of the ordinary that would cause anybody to think otherwise. It's a no-brainer. So in view of moving ahead with progress, I think this will help amplify that, if you will. Thank you.
All right, any other comments? All right. If not, we'll close the public hearing on this. Public hearing is closed, and we'll move into action items on the agenda. All right.
Resolution.
Have you had a chance to read the resolution on the approval of the zoning for the CPU, for the cell tower?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve.
All right, Mr. Carter's made a motion to approve the resolution to approve the zoning request. Is there a second?
Everybody's thinking.
I'll second.
All right, Reverend Jones is second. Motion to approve the resolution approving the zoning permit. Is there discussion? I'd just like to say one thing. I went to the first June hearing, and surprised that there wasn't more attendance there, but I do know that as a result of the first zoning hearing, the wireless company has put in their proposal free use of the tower by Appomattox County Emergency Services, which means we could have our antenna and free use on that tower, which would be an improvement for radio communications for all our fire, EMS, and sheriff. But then also a concern about revenue that the FFA wasn't getting. So I guess I do have a question, Mr. Rourke, do you have more information about revenue for the FFA that they won't be getting because of this new tower, or?
Yeah, I can try and answer that question. I don't know what, I don't have any access to what US Cell's agreement is with the Alumni Association. I do know, I'm sure they pay ground rent for that tower. The tower's not coming down anytime soon, so from that standpoint, they won't be losing any revenue. Sometimes there's a situation where there's a revenue share agreement, where in other words, if I own the tower on someone's property, if a carrier comes on, Verizon comes on, they will get a percentage of the revenue, of the rent that Verizon's paying on the tower. That's happens every once in a while. I don't know if it's specific to this case, because I don't know what the agreement entails. So, no, they wouldn't be losing any ground rent because the tower's still on the property.
Right.
If there's any other side agreement, like the revenue share, I don't know. I even sent a text to my contact at Verizon, and they don't even know. So, but I'd have to look it up.
That's what I was trying to find out, because it was brought up at the first hearing, and then the second one, it was like, all of a sudden, it was a non-issue.
Yeah.
So the existing tower, US Cellular Tower, will still be there? It's not going to be decommissioned or anything that you know of, or?
No, yeah, I mean, if I would assume, including US Cellular, is on that tower transmitting a signal. So for them to take that tower down would mean they would drop coverage in that area. So, again, I don't think one from US Cellular is here, but I couldn't imagine that happening. So.
All right, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, it's time for a vote then. Motion's been made to approve and seconded. Mr. Roskell?
Aye.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Mr. Hips?
No.
And I vote no. Motion's carried. All right, next up is carry forward funds request for the 2025 operating budget. Please reappropriate the following FY 2024 funds and carry over forward to the FY 2025 operating budget. You can all see the list there of the dollar amounts. And I don't see a total on there. So the board accept a motion to either approve that carry forward or not.
So moved.
Reverend Jones has moved to approve the carry forward as listed in the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Carter, second. Discussion? Mr. Wolfskill?
Aye.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Hips?
Aye.
Mr. Carter?
Aye.
I vote aye also. Okay, next item is schools carryover. Schools carry forward by appropriation request for FY 2025. Appomattox County Public Schools are requesting the following carry forward appropriations to the 2025 operating budget for a total of $5,812,581.48. 75% of that carryover forward request is encumbered and will be paid out in FY 2025. Staff recommends consider Dr. Bennett's request for carry forward for funds totaling the amount of $5,812,581.48 from FY 24 budget to the FY 25 budget. Is there a motion to approve this request?
So moved.
Reverend Jones has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Ruffskill has seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
What is the definition of nurse grant? $18,337.60.
Mr. Tibbs?
Mr. Tibbs.
Did I get it wrong?
No?
Nope, okay.
That's right.
Where everybody's looking at me, I thought they were.
I mean, doctor, but it's fine. I don't care. All right, the nursing grant, we had an opportunity to apply for a grant from the State Department of Education to allow for nursing. It was specifically designed for school clinics. So we applied for it to assist us with training of our school nurses. It also allowed us to purchase products and materials and supplies and equipment that we may not normally be able to purchase. And this was money that we received in FY '23, and we carried over to '24, and then we're carrying over just a little bit into '25. The latest items that we purchased with this money are athletic training tables for our athletic training department. Our athletic trainer, with the new remodel that's been happening at the high school, she needed some athletic training tables and those types of things.
Okay, I love it. Everything you said there sounded great. It really did. I just didn't know. First time I've seen that nurse's grant.
Right.
And I just wanted a definition
Sure.
of that.
Sure.
Now, while you up there, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Carter?
they got a carryover fund of $5,812,581.48. Can any of that be applied to this state grant that was available?
No.
Can't do it.
Because most of this money, like the school construction assistance program, that was that $4.5 million grant that we applied for to help us finish out the high school project. And that really is flow-through money, so that can't be used. The all-in tutoring money is money that was given by the General Assembly by Governor Youngkin last year. We received about $1.1 million to assist with students in need, at-risk students that are behind grade levels in reading and in math, and so that money is carrying over to assist us to help pay for tutors. So that money has been earmarked. The Stronger Connections, again, is a grant for a safety grant. The VDOE, that's a safety grant that we apply for every year. We don't get it every year, but sometimes we do. The VDOE one-time safety grant, that we ended up getting a notification from the Department of Education on June the 25th that the General Assembly had approved some money for grants for safety, and we were getting $74,000 from the state and $49,000 from the federal government, and it has to go to safety items there in the building. And then the CTE entitlement grant. So all of these come with already expended and appropriated funds. So no, it can't be used to supplement and make up that difference.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Tibbs.
You're welcome.
Or any other questions from the board? All righty. Vote to approve the carryover. Mr. Wolfskill?
Aye.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Mr. Hips?
Aye.
I vote aye also. Carryover of $5,812,581.48 is approved. Next up is the safety shoe policy. In the current personnel policy, all employees who work at the landfill or maintenance department are required to wear safety shoes. Once an employee has been employed for 6 months, he is eligible for reimbursement for 1/2 of the cost of the shoes, not to exceed $60. At the previous board meeting, Supervisor Hips requested the staff update the policy to reimburse up to $120 annually for safety shoes. Staff recommended is consider the recommendation from Supervisor Hips to update the safety shoe policy and reimburse up to $120 annually. Is there a motion to approve policy change for that?
So moved.
Mr. Hips has moved. Reverend Jones, second. Any discussion? Okay, motion been made and seconded to move the safety shoe reimbursement up to $120.
Aye.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Mr. Hips?
Aye.
I vote aye also. Next action item is declaration of local emergency. Attached for the board's consideration is a declaration of local emergency executed by the Appomattox County Director of Emergency Management on Thursday, August 8th, 2024, due to the tropical storm Debbie. Staff recommends that we adopt the declaration of local emergency as a result of tropical storm Debbie. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Mr. Rumpscale has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Hips, second. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Mr. Hips?
Aye.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Wumpscale?
Aye.
I vote aye also. And then right after that, we have a resolution declaring the end of the local emergency, since the emergency's moved on. Attached as board's consideration, the resolution declaring the end of the local emergency as a result of Tropical Storm Debbie. Is there a motion to approve the declaration ending the emergency?
So moved.
Mr. Hips has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Carter? All righty. Discussion? All right, let's vote. Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Mr. Hips?
Aye.
Mr. Wumpscale?
Aye.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
I vote aye also. All right. Next, Children's Services Act for the FY 2024 budget. Please transfer by consent from the general fund $326,269.79 and supplement to 5310-3001 professional services. Reference difference in the state's reimbursement amount, locality's expense. Staff recommends new local funds are required. Please transfer by consent from the general fund $326,269.79 and supplement to the 5310-3001 professional services account in the FY 2024 operating budget. Also with that is please supplement by consent and appropriation the following to the FY 24 operating budget, 5310-3001 professional, the amount of $651,171 services. This is reimbursement from the state for CSA services, reimbursement from DSS for services paid by CSA in the amount of $6,580. Staff recommends approval since no new local funds are needed. Can we do those as one, or does that need to be individual?
I would do
Two?
two motions, yeah.
All righty. Is there a motion to supplement the professional services amount from the general fund in the amount of $326,269.79?
So moved.
Reverend Jones has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Se- mm.
Mr. Hips, seconded. Questions? Mr. Carter, what do you say?
Aye.
Mr. Hips?
Aye.
Mr. Wumpscale?
Aye.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
I vote aye also. All right. Motion to, by consent, appropriate the following 2024 operating budget to 5310-3001 professional services. This is reimbursement from CASA and DSS. No local new funds required for the total of $651,171. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Wolfskill moves, second.
Second.
Mr. Carter, second. Discussion? Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Mr. Hips?
Aye.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfskill?
Aye.
I vote aye also. The move is approved. All righty. Number 9, declaration for drone program. Attached for the board's consideration is a resolution in support of the sheriff's offices operating an unmanned aircraft system within Appomattox County and authorize the county attorney to provide a letter of support to the Federal Aviation Administration. Also attached for your review is a letter that the county attorney, Kelly Kemp, will send to the Federal Aviation Administration. Staff recommends that we adopt the resolution in support of the sheriff's office operating an unmanned aircraft system with Appomattox County and authorize the county attorney to send the resolution and letter of support to the Federal Aviation Administration. Is there a motion to do the same?
So move if needed.
Mr. Carter has moved to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Reverend Jones is seconded. Is there discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Hips?
Mr. Chairman, why do we need to authorize this in the first place? I would think that the law enforcement agency would have the ability to do this on their own.
You would think that, I guess. The federal law does specifically define these drones or unmanned aircraft systems as a public aircraft only used for governmental functions. And I do think there's some administrative reasons for that. But they do request that the county attorney send this letter of support, which obviously, really, it's your support. I can't tell you why it comes through the county attorney and honestly not through the chair, which would make sense. But it's in the federal code. As the sheriff said, he does already have the drones. This is just to have it classified for just governmental use.
Okay. And, frankly, when I saw it on the agenda, I was surprised. It's not something that, the idea of it, I'm not fond of. But then you printed out and supplied us with the Code of Virginia, which essentially says that he needs a warrant. So there's not a drone flying over people's houses. And, I think that people could reasonably be concerned if they saw that there was an authorized drone program, so that they understand that this is not something that's unbridled, spying on citizens. There's a legal process. They have to have a warrant. And greatly assist in missing persons and things like that. That one makes a lot of sense. The only other question I had for you was, in between the resolution and your letter, the resolution states that the use of the drone is to assist in emergency operations. Your letter states that the use of the drone is for investigations. There's a few things in there. So do we need to have our resolution address?
If you would prefer, I'm happy. I was using a template that was provided to me by the sheriff's office that another county used. I'm happy to say, take out investigations if that would make you all more comfortable. And so that it just said emergency operations and training, if that's.
Well, I think that's something we can discuss amongst ourselves. I just wanted to point out that there was a discrepancy between our resolution and what we were going to authorize to send the letter. So I think we need to address that one way or the other. We can't say in the resolution that we're approving it for emergency operations and then when it's actually for other things. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Roskill?
sounds like the resolution needs to be rewritten before we can vote on it.
Well, I think we can make a motion to amend the resolution to add what Mr. Hips is talking about.
Okay?
Why, I mean, instead of saying, why not just for law enforcement use or something like that, rather than, emergency operations.
This is the
Rather
second
than
whereas.
on the
in
resolution.
Okay.
Yeah, rather
Yeah,
than
that's fine.
specifically naming a
That's-
category.
That's totally fine.
Okay, so that,
If you all want to amend it and just say to assist the sheriff's office.
whereas the sheriff's office seeks
Or-
purchase and operate, assist in. I don't, you tell me the language. To assist in,
I think you could,
it's time to wake up.
As you answer.
Yeah, it's time to get up.
I think you could just say to, I mean, you could just say to assist the sheriff's office and leave it at that if you wanted to, but it's certainly up to
Okay.
you all as to how you want to.
I like that.
That's fine.
Sheriff's office.
That's fine.
So, let's see, who made that motion?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Carter, we'd have to amend your
Carter and Jones.
language here to make it match what we're actually asking for.
Okay, that's what I'll do then.
Okay.
All
To
right.
assist the sheriff's office is how it ended up.
Mr. Carter's accepted the amendment by Mr. Hips to change the language on the resolution to just say sheriff's operations and take out the emergency language.
They still need warrants.
Yes.
Yes.
So on the motion to accept the resolution and also authorize the attorney to send a letter to the FAA as required by federal law. Mr. Wolfskill, how do you vote?
Aye.
Reverend Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Mr. Hips?
Aye.
I vote aye also. All right, next, E911 Public Safety Communication Upgrade. The board consideration is requested to transfer funds from either the general fund or the designated 911 wireless fund for the public safety communications upgrade. Please advise staff on which fund to transfer by consent $300,000 and supplement to 3606-7012 Public Safety Communications Upgrade. Staff recommends approval of the transfer of $300K from the general fund or the designated 911 wireless fund to supplement 3606-7012 Public Safety Communication. So I guess my first question is, staff doesn't care which fund it comes out of?
That would be up to the board. We have a designated fund that's the wireless funds, and that's got like $650-some thousand in it, which Mr. Benoit might can elaborate a little bit on that fund, but we use it for public safety communications, or you can appropriate new money from the general fund to put in, to supplement into this line item.
Mr. Chairman, I, for
Carter.
one, would say take it from a 911 expense or
Okay,
category.
Mr. Carter has moved that we transfer the funds from the 911 wireless fund to supplement the public safety communication upgrade. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Wolfskill will second it. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Wolfskill.
Aye.
Reverend Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Carter.
Aye.
Mr. Hips.
Aye.
I vote aye also. It's been approved to move $300K from the wireless fund to the public safety upgrade, communications upgrade. Next, building permit fee waiver. Attached for the board's review is an email from Mr. Robert Fowler at Mag's Town Manager requesting that the permit fee that be waived for the light installation on Old Courthouse Road. The fee for this permit will cost $153. Staff consideration considering the building permit fee waiver for the town of Appomattox in the amount of $153. We have with us tonight Mr. James Boyce, Town Council member. Would you like to speak to this, or?
Anytime you can cut us a break, let's do it.
All righty.
So moved.
Reverend Jones has moved that we waive the building permit fee. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Carter, second. Discussion? Mr. Wolfskill.
Aye.
Reverend Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Carter.
Aye.
Mr. Hips.
Aye.
I vote aye also. The town has their waiver. All right, next we have Commissioner Revenue Refund Request. Ms. Sarah Henderson, Commissioner of Revenue, is requesting the following to be paid from line item 1209-5803, refunds in the FY '24 operating budget. First refund is to refund Robert K. Franklin, $12.58 for 2023 personal property tax. He was erroneously assessed and has paid Appomattox County. Number two, refund Penny McMahon Loan Services LLC, $258.78 for 2023 real estate taxes. Mr. Anthony Allen qualifies for veterans exemption. Number three, refund Parkway Real Estate LLC, $1,904.47 for 2022 and 2023 business personal property tax. He was erroneously assessed and is paid at Appomattox County. Staff recommends consideration of the above refunds, transfer by consent from the general fund, and supplementing $2,172.83 to 1209-5803 in the FY 2024 operating budget. No new local funds are required. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Epps has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Reverend Jones has seconded. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, let's vote. Mr. Wolfskill.
Aye.
Reverend Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Carter.
Aye.
Mr. Hips. I vote aye also. All right. Consent agenda. The consent agenda includes approvals of bills, minutes, supplement appropriations, line item transfer, and transfer funds. Any item on the consent agenda shall be removed from the consent agenda at the request of a board member prior to the vote on the consent agenda. Items removed from the consent agenda shall be considered by the board individually in order to which they were removed from the consent agenda immediately following consideration of the consent agenda. Does anyone have any objections or questions or on the consent agenda?
Nope.
If not, we'll accept the motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
So moved.
Mr. Wolfskill moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Reverend Jones has seconded. Discussion? Need a second, Mr. Carter?
I'll second.
All right. Motion been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Mr. Wolfskill.
Aye.
Reverend Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Hips.
Aye.
Mr. Carter.
Aye.
I vote aye also. All right, next, attorney's report.
I do not have anything, sir.
Oh, come on.
All righty, administrators
All the
report.
stuff we did this month, you ain't got no report?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, you have the report before you. If you have any questions. Also notate that the construction, the courthouse construction, they are staging the area this week, so you will be seeing progress soon. Public safety, Mr. Vanoy, he put together an interview panel, and we interviewed for his position last week, his former position as communications manager. We interviewed 4 potential candidates. They all had applied within, and a decision was made to offer the position to Ashley Davila. She had worked for dispatch for 13 years. And in closed session, we'll be talking about a potential settlement agreement from Region 2000 Landfill Authority membership. And we conducted county attorney interviews, and Mr. Hips, Mr. Hinkle, and Mr. Wolfskill participated on that panel with Ms. Luckadoo and Mr. Spencer and myself. We interviewed 4 applicants. We will be making a proposal to the Board of Supervisors at the September meeting. In our finance department, we are in the process of finalizing all of the requests from the departments for FY '24 and preparing it for audit. And that's all that I have for you.
All right, any questions on administrator's report?
I got one question, Mr. Chairman.
All righty, Mr. Carter?
These infamous street signs that's been
Yeah.
stolen, is there any update on it as far as prosecution or whatever? Anybody been caught? Nothing?
All righty. Next is reports and informational items. Upcoming VACO 90th Annual Conference will be held at the Omni Homestead in Bath County. Appomattox County's been advised, or offered 3 rooms to the county, so if you would like to attend, please get with Miss Adams and make your reservations, so she can make your reservations. School finance reports are attached. Attached to board review is the post-year FY 2024 and FY 25 month-end financial report from Dr. Tips for your review. All right, now we're up to supervisor concerns. This time is for the individual board members to share information with other members of the board and at the public, items presented under this heading require action will be future meeting agenda to request additional information from staff members. No item presented under this heading shall be acted upon on this meeting without the unanimous consent of the board. Mr. Wolfskill, any concerns?
No.
Reverend Jones? No. Mr. Carter?
Just one, Mr. Chairman, from Mr. Rourke. The property, adjacent property landowners on this tower that need to be constructed, was it any of those negative?
But the couple of folks that were here tonight were adjacent property owners.
Well, I know the lady wasn't. She lived on, over on Sunnydale Avenue?
Mr. Boyce was against it.
Yeah.
He lives on Cawthorn,
Yeah.
is that right?
I know Mr. Boyce got a letter. Or was sent a letter.
And that's all?
Well, we sent out about 25, 26 adjacent
Okay.
property owners letters.
So you had one out of 25 or 26?
Yeah, I didn't
Is that
receive
right?
anything at the office. No, I didn't receive any comments at the office, but we sent out like 25, 26 adjacent property owner letters. It's a
Thank you.
large parcel that touches, on the south side, it touches all the way down to Jonesfield subdivision, then up to Church Street, Cawthorn, back around the Red House, catches the high school property, and then a couple properties past that, down that way.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I just hate to say that one person or the rest of those residents that live in that area controlled a tower to be constructed on the landowner's property. I just can't understand that.
You know, the motion passed.
Passed.
Yeah.
It
The
did.
motion
Yes.
carried 3-2.
Thank God. All right. Thank you, Mr. Gift. I didn't realize that. I thought it was 3-2 against it.
Mr. Hips?
No, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman?
could I specifically request a governmental back and forth going to the record? Because that's very concerning. That's very concerning right there to me.
All right, thank you, Mr. Boyce. I guess my comment would be that, some of these issues, it's like the libertarian in me, agrees with Mr. Carter, hey, it's his property, he should be able to do what the heck he wants with it, and then the other side of me says, well, you gotta play well with others, so it's kind of one of them catch-22 situations. The only other comment I have, I'd like to send a shout out to Appomattox Volunteer Fire Department. I understand they did a really good job of cleaning up the town park and making it look really nice and spiffy, so I congratulate them on their work there. All right, next we have a closed session. So if you visitors would like to vacate while we move into closed session, we'd appreciate it. And it's good to see the mayor of Pamplin here tonight, recognize her.